Hi guys, welcome to the channel of love and the journey of ascension. I felt as if somebody was saying that at the same time as me. Well, good evening. Let's have a series of short stories this evening, and at the end we shall carry on with reading Think and Grow Rich. So I've chosen some cards for this storytelling session. We'll use the Tarot Grand Locks. We'll start with that first, and then I can always pull some cards as I'm talking about the energy. Okay, we're talking about the energy today. Cheers, cheers. Okay, let's have our first story of the evening. Wow. Energy, because there's no people in this card. So it's a card full of energy. And it's heading directly towards you. This is a lot of activity. I would say going on behind the scenes, but no, it's all coming to light. So this is energy. This is energy. We're talking about energy. Okay. Shall we read this card? Let's do it. Let's fall in love. Oh, that's a strong energy, isn't it? The energy of love. Okay. The Eight of Wands represents putting ideas into action. This involves consolidated initiative, activity, and effort. Consolidated. As compared to the lateral perspective in the Rider-Waite-Smith, I have used a more dramatic front view of the wands to indicate their flight and to emphasize the idea of motion. Energy in motion. Love's got the world in motion. Okay, well, I have the Lover's Oracle here, so shall we have a look? Consolidated. I want to have a look and see what the definition of that word is. Consolidated. Make something physically stronger or more solid. The first phase of the project is to consolidate the outside walls. Combine a number of things into a single, more effective or coherent whole. All manufacturing activities have been consolidated in new premises. But now I'm taken to the word like premise. I know it says premises, and I take it they're talking about like a building, premises, location, building. I'm taken to like a false premise, like a false statement, a false truth. Let's have a look and see what the word premise means. Energy is in motion. Premise meaning a previous statement or proposition from which another is inferred or follows as a conclusion. Base an argument, theory, or undertaking on. That's what a premise means. We could say promise. Promise me you'll wait for me. Okay, well, let's go to the Lovers Oracle. Oh, my throat's gone all tickly. Okay. I can't read the words like from here, but I can see them through the screen. Love is like a rosebud. It may reach full blossom, or it might die slowly. Love is like a rosebud. It may reach full blossom, or it might die slowly. Excuse me, it's that tickly throat. What's going on in this picture? What can we see? Can we focus? Oh, I do apologise. Okay. 3 men in shining armour. And a sword. Oh, okay. I could just see the rose and the feminine there. It's like the feminine's kneeling. Shouldn't it be the other way around? Unless he's a lot taller than her. But this character here seems to be looking as if, so what's going on? What's he doing here? There's the energy of like someone wanting to beg for mercy. Okay, maybe it's not mercy. Maybe it's you got me begging you for mercy. Why won't you release me? So love is like a rosebud. It may reach full blossom, or it might die slowly. Well, things are speeding up here, some motion. It's interesting because I did feel the energy there of the feminine like begging to be released. Like from the torment, from the slow death. It takes me to like the rose from Beauty and the Beast, and like that my belly's rumbling, that last petal is about to fall. God speaks. Card number 33. The divine is speaking to you directly. Underneath the silence, there is the endless music of love pulsating throughout this universe. Within this sacred sound, there is guidance. It may or may not have words. It might be a feeling in your heart that you can only access when you are still, relaxed, dancing, in a yoga practice, or even half asleep. It assures you that behind any struggle or challenge, there is only ever the divine seeking you. My belly is really rumbling. Seeking you out, calling you to surrender some fear or doubt or other so you can move closer. Trust in the sound of love beyond anything else, for in truth, no matter what may appear to be, there is nothing else. This oracle brings you guidance. You are being loved into becoming. Be open to being shown the divine genius in all that is happening. If you feel you are being nudged, know you are being nudged by the divine. If you feel you are being held back, Know you are being held back by the divine. All is happening perfectly for you, and all will unfold in divine timing. Okay, so it's like, stop begging the divine or these knights in shining armour to release you. God said, don't ask for things to be easier. Ask to be stronger. You can't really see her in this image, but because this is not given an answer, whether love is going to reach full blossom or die softly, the divine's telling you to hang on in there. Hang on in there, baby. Hang on in there, darling. I'm gonna give you more than you ever think possible. So don't be afraid, baby. Okay. So Divine Feminine, don't be afraid. Don't ask to be released from a beautiful love connection, or to be released from your connection to this beautiful love. It's only just begun. All is happening perfectly for you, and all will unfold in divine timing. The divine is speaking to you. Okay, so that's his energy here. Okay. The divine is speaking to you. When you are captivated by the beauty of nature or an illogical sense that everything is okay, listen. That's the divine talking to you, reassuring you that all is unfolding according to spiritual law in perfect cooperation with your own destiny. Okay, let's finish up this first story here with this poem. When the first sound was born, the air was filled with fantasy, like the flowers' sweet perfume. Alive in the moment, there was nothing else, only the energy coursing through my body and the tears on my cheeks. I was carried away on the strings, each note striking a chord within and answering with the emotions of my soul. How priceless the surprise, how powerful the memory to be with the violin when it sings. Okay. Only the energy coursing through my body. It said there was nothing else, only the energy coursing through my body. Okay, right, let's go over to the next story. Look at that card sticking out there. Now, is he throwing it all away? And what is he throwing away? Or what's he reaching for? Imminence. What does that word mean? Reaching for imminence. Okay, let me just have a check. not imminent. I was hearing imminence. Okay. How do I spell this? Imminence refers, it's IMMANENCE, refers to the philosophical and theological concept that the divine or a higher power is present, manifested within, and permeates the material world, rather than existing only outside or above it. Wow. It signifies an indwelling or inherent quality, often contrasted with transcendence. It is also used in philosophy to describe a reality where all things are part of one continuous, immanent field. Okay. Reaching for immanence. It's like reaching for higher energy, higher access to source, higher wisdom, higher intelligence. Magic. The Queen of Wands. All I can hear is like she is the queen of imminence. Can I even say it that way? But yeah, reaching for magic. I mean, the Five of Coins is about going through the change. But is that one coin coming with him? That's like the legacy. That is like your legacy. Destiny. So we read the Queen of Wands first. She was sticking out of the deck. Okay, the message of the Queen of Wands. The self-assured queen radiates with energy and warmth. Her dragons serve not only as ornamentation, but they reflect her enthusiasm and vibrancy. She can handle any situation with grace. Now, the Five of Pentacles. I'm singing, what are you looking at, Vogue? Look around, everywhere you turn it's heartache. It's everywhere that you go. The traditional church scene is maintained and represented here by the stained glass window, but the impoverished figures of the Rider-Waite-Smith are substituted by the receiving hand, symbolising the act of charity. It can be seen as helping those less fortunate or receiving help from others. In this case, that hand is reaching for the Queen of Wands. Help. Help. I need somebody. But what's coming through is that song was used for comic relief. Dawn French, Jennifer Saunders. I'm not sure if Joanna Lumley was in there and Ruby Wax, but it's like they're a class of their own. But comic relief. So this hand, okay, needs a pick-me-up. But this isn't like it may sound like a comedy, but it's not funny. This hand is reaching out for help, reaching for higher assistance. Let's have a look and see what the Lovers Oracle wants to say. So what can we say? We can see the feminine here. And we can see in the stained glass window. Okay. Which I feel is this hand energy here. So you can see here the hands I feel are like crossed over at the chest. So cross my heart and hope to die. I mean, like, if I ever tell you a lie. So, like I say, this isn't like a joke. This masculine's in need. Looks like he's coming out of like a cocoon energy here. Oh, look, he's hiding. And it said about the stained glass window remains, but the two impoverished figures are no longer present. It's just this hand that's reaching out to help, but is also reaching out to be helped. And so what's coming through is the energy of like why we are here, to love and be loved. And I want to say why we're here is to help and be helped. Let's read the message. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. Okay. Tough energy. Journey of love. Journey of love. Let the feminine lead the way. It's like take her hand and let her lead the way. Card number 39. It will all be fine. The feminine principle in you, whether man or woman, is the way forward in your life now. She is the principle of feeling and of surrender. She feels the intelligence of the divine guiding light in a way that the masculine principle cannot at this time. You may not see where you are going, therefore, but you can feel your way forward. Trust her. Let your mind go and let your senses lead you, becoming more exquisite and communicative. Be led by your heart. Don't worry if you don't know all the details yet or how it is going to work out. She knows the way. Let her lead. This oracle brings confirmation to you that what you have been feeling or sensing, even without any logical, physical evidence, is worth following up on. Trust your senses over appearances. Trust your intuition over your intellect. You are letting feminine wisdom guide you, and she will steer you in the best direction, reaching for imminence. I just added that part on. It didn't say that in the book, but that's what it means, isn't it? You are letting feminine wisdom guide you, and she will steer you in the best direction. Okay. Let's read the poem. My coming out is the freedom to fully be who I am. That comes in with this, doesn't it? It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. My coming out is the freedom to fully be who I am and the surrender to the divine essence expressing through and around me. Let's talk of that energy again. Expressing through and around me. My coming out is the marriage of twin souls with my life partner in gratitude, in love, unfolding as more than we could ever be on our own. Oh, that's beautiful, isn't it? Very much so. Okay, that's the second story. Let's do one more before we go over to Napoleon Hill. Okay, so with this story, we're going to use an Archangel Power tarot card. The Eight of Raphael. There is something better waiting for you. Do what you know is right for you. A spiritual quest. Well, we can see the Divine Feminine, and she's on one side of that bridge, and she's got a treasure chest there, and in the shadows, can you see the masculine? Oh, belly's rumbling again. Look, there's just a little stream he's got to cross. He can step over that. But he's just over there in the shadows. But like, who's behind him in the shadows watching him? Can you see? Just over here. Looks like there's two figures waiting. Waiting to see if things are clear. So it's like he's not on his own. Who's that you have with you, dear? They're like witnesses. Because if this is taken to like a wedding, it's like you have to have two witnesses, don't you? Or these could be people, you know, that haven't come along for the ride. It's like they've come along for the proof. There is something better waiting for you. So this masculine may have said, I've got something much better waiting. Like, I don't believe you. He's like, let me show you. Let me show you love. Let me show you. You've got to live right now. So we've got the Eight of Raphael, which I've opened straight up to. It's page number 109. So there is something better waiting for you. The ways in which you've evolved have you convinced that there must be more to life, and there is. The inward search for answers is rewarded at this time. It's time to leave the past behind and embrace a brand new you. The choice is not forced upon you, but is of your making. Your past experiences have been very important in helping you understand who you are. Be grateful for what you've learned. And build upon it. A relocation or change in your job or relationships is possible at this time. Additional meanings of this card: a journey, a spiritual quest, doing what you know is right for you, a change of interests. Okay, Lover's Oracle, let's go now. Let's hear it for the boy. Dim, 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 dim. Dim, 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 dim. Do you want to have a look at the picture first? Well, it looks like he's down on both knees. So there's a turnaround for the books. Is that how you would say that? Why are the phrases goodbye, I'm sorry, and I love you so easy to pronounce and yet so hard to say? The journey of love. We're finished with this final message. The heart of God. Card number 9. What's interesting is I'm going to leave the cards as they are. What they've done is they've taken the feminine out of there. She's here. Can't see the masculine. You can see the masculine in this card and the feminine here. Like she is this light. The heart of God. Card number 9. Let's have some coffee. Cheers. Cheers. It's taken to, you see the love heart, popping it in there. So there's that part there. And then is this a figure coming in on this side, like swooping in? It's very much with that Queen of Wands energy and let the feminine lead the way. Not leave the way, lead, there she is. Let the feminine lead the way. It's like she just needs to go ahead. Like from the masculine. Then it's safe to lead the way. Okay, let's read this message. Heart of God. It's like it's safe for your energy to lead the way. And what's coming through is, because I'm feeling the energy of, she will only feel safe to lead the way when the masculine, it's not authorises that, but confirms that with her. She needs that confirmation that it's safe for her to be the divine feminine. So card number 9. You are part of something profound, a divine calling and privilege. It is the role of the inspiratrix or inspirator upon this earth, the women and men who have hearts capable of bliss. Bliss is what we feel when we let God in. The heart opens and we cannot speak for the sensation of it. It cannot be described. Great hearts can tolerate mystery. They can hear the enormity of divine bliss beyond analysis and description and simply be. You don't have to do anything with it, you see. To be the inspiration is to have a heart open to the divine. It's a life calling. Your heart is an inspirational force to be loved, recognized, and protected for the precious catalyst of divine awakening that it is. Be led by your heart. God is in it, speaking through it, calling you forth to love. And the love that flows through your heart filters out through your toes, dripping on those beneath you as stars falling from heaven. This oracle holds a message for you, direct from the divine. You have a sacred purpose to fulfill upon this earth, and it's all sorted out. This situation, this issue, this awakening that you seek and are living even now is held lovingly in the hands of the divine creator. The creator says to you, leave it with me. It's all unfolding in perfection. I am alive in your heart. I am your heart. Okay, the poem. When souls are touched with love sublime, and hearts unleash the wonder found, a promise made somewhere in time of words that speak without a sound. In gratitude, we transcend space and bless the gifts we now can keep, of thoughts caress in soft embrace, and eyes allowed in joy to weep. The moment's song that we compose will leave this life with no regret, and carry forth what we impose to chart again a course once set. For what we have is ours to own, each breath a step we measure sweet. Together now we wait alone and walk in peace, our hearts complete. That's beautiful. Okay, let's go over to Think and Grow Rich, and we shall pick up from where we left off in our last visit. Okay, let's have some coffee. Cheers. Cheers. Ooh, nice and bright. Okay, so here we are, and we finished with failure is a trickster with a keen sense of irony and cunning. It takes great delight in tripping one when success is almost within reach. I feel like I have a sneeze coming on. A blessing. A 50-cent lesson in persistence. Shortly after Mr. Darby received his degree from the University of Hard Knocks and had decided to profit by his experience in the gold mining business, he had the good fortune to be present on an occasion that proved to him that no does not necessarily mean no. One afternoon, he was helping his uncle grind wheat in an old-fashioned mill. The uncle operated a large farm on which a number of coloured sharecrop farmers lived. Quietly, the door was opened, and a small coloured child, the daughter of a tenant, walked in and took her place near the door. The uncle looked up, saw the child, and barked at her roughly. "What do you want?" Meekly, the child replied, "My mamma says, send her 50 cents. "I'll not do it," the uncle retorted. "Now you run on home." "Yes, sir," the child replied, but she did not move. The uncle went ahead with his work, so busily engaged that he did not pay enough attention to the child to observe that she did not leave. When he looked up and saw her still standing there, he yelled at her, "I told you to go on home. Now go, or I'll take a switch to you." The little girl said, "Yes, sir," but she did not budge an inch. The uncle dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into a meal hopper, picked up a barrel stave and started toward the child with an expression on his face that indicated trouble. Darby held his breath. He was certain he was about to witness a murder. He knew his uncle had a fierce temper. He knew that coloured children were not supposed to defy white people in that part of the country. When the uncle reached the spot where the child was standing, she quickly stepped forward one step, looked up into his eyes, and screamed at the top of her shrill voice, "My mama's gotta have that 50 cents. The uncle stopped, looked at her for a minute, then slowly laid the barrel stave on the floor, put his hand in his pocket, took out $50 and gave it to her. The child took the money and slowly backed towards the door, never taking her eyes off the man whom she had just conquered. After she had gone, after she had gone, the uncle sat down on a box and looked out the window into space for more than 10 minutes. He was pondering, with awe, over the whipping he had just taken. Mr. Darby, too, was doing some thinking. That was the first time in all his experience that he had seen a coloured child deliberately master an adult white person. How did she do it? What happened to his uncle that caused him to lose his fierceness and become as docile as a lamb? What strange power did this child use that made her master over her superior? These and other similar questions flashed into Darby's mind, but he did not find the answer until years later, when he told me the story. Strangely, the story of this unusual experience was told to the author in the old mill, on the very spot where the uncle took his whipping. Strangely too, I had devoted nearly a quarter of a century to the study of the power which enabled an ignorant, illiterate coloured child to conquer an intelligent man. As we stood there in that musty old mill, Mr. Darby repeated the story of the unusual conquest and finished by saying, "What can you make of it? What strange power did that child use that so completely whipped my uncle?" The answer to his question will be found in the principles described in this book. The answer is full and complete. It contains details and instructions sufficient to enable anyone to understand and apply the same force which the little child accidentally stumbled upon. Keep your mind alert, and you will observe exactly what strange power came to the rescue of the child. You will catch a glimpse of this power in the next chapter. Somewhere in the book, you will find an idea that will quicken your receptive powers and place at your command, for your own benefit, this same irresistible power. The awareness of this power may come to you in the first chapter, or it may flash into your mind in some subsequent chapter. It may come in the form of a single idea, or it may come in the nature of a plan or a purpose. Again, it may cause you to go back into your past experiences of failure or defeat and bring to the surface some lesson by which you can regain all that you lost through defeat. After I have described to Mr. Darby the power unwittingly used by the little coloured child, he quickly retraced his 30 years of experience as a life insurance salesman and frankly acknowledged that his success in that field was due, in no small degree, to the lesson he had learned from the child. Mr. Darby pointed out, every time a prospect tried to bow me out without buying, I saw that child standing there in the old mill, her big eyes glaring in defiance, and I said to myself, I've got to make this sale. The better portion of all sales I have made were made after people had said no. He recalled too his mistake in having stopped only 3 feet from gold, but, he said, that experience was a blessing in disguise. It taught me to keep on keeping on, no matter how hard the going may be, a lesson I needed to learn before I could succeed in anything. This story of Mr. Darby and his uncle, the coloured child and the gold mine, doubtless will be read by hundreds of men who make their living by selling life insurance, and to all of these the author wishes to offer the suggestion that Darby owes to these 2 experiences his ability to sell more than $1 million of life insurance every year. Life is strange and often imponderable, but the successes and the failures have their roots in simple experiences. Mr. Darby's experiences were commonplace and simple enough, yet they held the answer to his destiny in life. Therefore, they were as important to him as life itself. He profited by these 2 dramatic experiences because he analysed them and found the lesson they taught. But what of the man who has neither the time nor the inclination to study failure in search of knowledge that may lead to success? Where and how is he to learn the art of converting defeat into stepping stones to opportunity? In answer to these questions, this book was written. The answer called for a description of 13 principles, but remember, as you read, the answer you may be seeking to the question which has caused you to ponder over the strangeness of life may be found in your own mind through some idea, plan, or purpose which may spring into your mind as you read. One sound idea is all that one needs to achieve success. Let me repeat that. One sound idea is all that one needs to achieve success. The principles described in this book contain the best and the most practical of all that is known concerning ways and means of creating useful ideas. Before we go any further in our approach to the description of these principles, we believe you are entitled to receive this important suggestion. When riches begin to come, they come so quickly, in such great abundance, that one wonders where they have been hiding during all those lean years. This is an astounding statement, and all the more so when we take into consideration the popular belief that riches come only to those who work hard and long. When you begin to think and grow rich, you will observe that riches begin with a state of mind, with definiteness of purpose, with little or no hard work. You and every other person ought to be interested in knowing how to acquire that state of mind which will attract riches. I spent 25 years in research analysing more than 25,000 people because I too wanted to know how wealthy men become that way. Without that research, this book could not have been written. Here take notice of a very significant truth. The business depression started in 1929 and continued onto an all-time record of destruction until sometime after President Roosevelt entered office. Then the depression began to fade into nothingness, just as an electrician in a theatre raises the light so gradually that darkness is transmuted into light before you realise it. So did the spell of fear in the minds of the people gradually fade away and become faith. Observe very closely. As soon as you master the principles of this philosophy and begin to follow the instructions for applying those principles, your financial status will begin to improve, and everything you touch will begin to transmute itself into an asset for your benefit. Impossible? Not at all. One of the main weaknesses of mankind is the average man's familiarity with the word impossible. He knows all the rules which will not work. He knows all the things which cannot be done. This book was written for those who seek the rules which have made others successful and are willing to stake everything on those rules. A great many years ago, I purchased a fine dictionary. The first thing I did with it was to turn to the word impossible and neatly clip it out of the book. That would not be an unwise thing for you to do. Success comes to those who become success conscious. Failure comes to those who indifferently allow themselves to become failure conscious. The object of this book is to help all those who seek it to learn the art of changing their minds from failure consciousness to success consciousness. Another weakness found in altogether too many people is the habit of measuring everything and everyone by their own impressions and beliefs. Some who will read this will believe that no one can think and grow rich. They cannot think in terms of riches because their thought habits have been steeped in poverty, want, misery, failure, and defeat. Let's just make sure I haven't skipped a page again. This might be a good time to just have some refreshments. Let's have some coffee. Cheers. Cheers. It's coming in perfectly with those short stories. Beforehand. Okay, right, let's make sure I'm getting to the right page here. Let's reread this part. Some who will read this will believe that no one can think and grow rich. They cannot think in terms of riches because their thought habits have been steeped in poverty, want, misery, failure, and defeat. These unfortunate people remind me of a prominent Chinese man who came to America to be educated in American ways. He attended the University of Chicago. One day, President Harper met this young man on the campus, stopped to chat with him for a few minutes, and asked what had impressed him as being the most noticeable characteristic of the American people. "Why," the man exclaimed, "the queer slant of your eyes. Your eyes are off slant. What do we say about the Chinese? We refuse to believe that which we do not understand. We foolishly believe that our own limitations are the proper measure of limitations. Sure, the other fellow's eyes are off slant because they are not the same as our own. Millions of people look at the achievements of Henry Ford after he has arrived and envy him because of his good fortune or luck or genius or whatever it is that they credit for Ford's fortune. Perhaps one person in every 100,000 knows the secret of Ford's success, and those who do know are too modest or too reluctant to speak of it because of its simplicity. A single transaction will illustrate the secret perfectly. A few years back, Ford decided to produce his now famous V8 motor. He chose to build an engine with the entire 8 cylinders cast in one block and instructed his engineers to produce a design for the engine. The design was placed on paper, but the engineers agreed to a man that it was simply impossible to cast an 8-cylinder gas engine block in one piece. Ford said, "Produce it anyway." "But," they replied, "it's impossible." "Go ahead," Ford commanded, "and stay on the job until you succeed, no matter how much time is required." The engineers went ahead. There was nothing else for them to do if they were to remain on the Ford staff. 6 months went by. Nothing happened. Another 6 months passed, and still nothing happened. The engineers tried every conceivable plan to carry out the orders, but the thing seemed out of the question, impossible. At the end of the year, Ford checked with the engineers, and again they informed him they had found no way to carry out his orders. "Go right ahead," said Ford. "I want it, and I'll have it." They went ahead, and then, as if by a stroke of magic, the secret was discovered. The Ford determination had won once more. This story may not be described with minute accuracy, but the sum and substance of it is correct. Deduce from it, you who wish to think and grow rich, the secret of the Ford millions, if you can. You'll not have to look very far. Henry Ford is a success because he understands and applies the principles of success. One of these is desire, knowing what one wants. Remember this Ford story as you read and pick out the lines in which the secret of his stupendous achievement have been described. If you can do this, if you can lay your finger on the particular group of principles which made Henry Ford rich, you can equal his achievements in almost any calling for which you are suited. And that is where we shall leave this session's reading. Okay, guys, thank you for joining me. I will talk to you soon. Until then, take care. Much love. Bye for now.